Hello everyone, and welcome to our presentation on Canvas Gradebook and accessibility. My name is Brandon Toffanelli, and I'm the Distance Education Technician here at Napa Valley College. Here at Napa Valley College since 2011, I started tutoring students in mathematics, and around 2014, I began training students with technology. Programs like Kurzweil and Dragon, and then about a year ago, I was hired on with Distance Education in the Office of Academic Affairs to troubleshoot our Canvas system and help our students and our faculty with support. So today, we're going to be talking about content connectivity. I'll explain what that means. Navigating the gradebook in Canvas, using the speed grader in Canvas, and that will cover the gradebook material. And then we'll start talking about accessibility and just some basics on accessibility, a need for accessibility, why we should be paying attention to accessibility, and then some techniques, some things you can try in your Canvas courses, the art of accessibility. So content connectivity. When you start building content in Canvas, say, and by content I mean assignments, discussions or quizzes, what's interesting is that they don't stay in one place. They'll actually move. So if you create an assignment and you save and publish it in the assignment menu, all of a sudden that's not the only place that that assignment will live. It'll actually automatically populate the gradebook. It will actually automatically populate the course summary in your syllabus. So there's a lot of these sort of hidden links and places where your content goes. So the bottom line is that everything in Canvas is connected. So when you create quizzes, assignments, and discussions, all three, and we're talking primarily graded content, say that you wanted to build up your gradebook with assignments. Ironically, you wouldn't actually go directly to the gradebook to build the gradebook. You're actually going to be building the gradebook in your assignment menu. So basically, yeah. So any actions that you take in terms of creating and saving and publishing content will be distributed among the program, and also any actions that you take will notify students and other faculty or TAs that are in your course. So if you publish a new assignment, everyone's going to know about it. So an example of notifications, a student's due date, grading policies, course content is in there, and that's why I use the word content. That means assignments, discussions, quizzes. Whenever you produce some new content, that will notify your students. So in a live term, we're in the middle of a semester, and you're still creating content, you can save it, but don't maybe publish it right away until it's finished, because that will notify it. So any files that you're adding, anytime you're actually grading, so if you add a new grade, it will notify the students immediately. So there's a technique called muting, so you can mute your grades, and we'll cover that. And the idea is you mute all of your grades until you're ready to show all the grades all at once to all of your students. And this is an example of the notification page that you guys actually have in your accounts, students actually have in their accounts, and the page just goes on. This is like a third of what is actually, there are more options and more notifications. I also created a flow chart. What happens when you create an assignment? At the top, you have an assignment, and this could be a quiz, it could be a discussion. You create it, you save it, and you publish it, and now it's listed in your assignments, in that menu. But simultaneously, it goes over to your gradebook, and it's going to have its own column and populate its own column in your gradebook. Similarly, it'll be listed in your course summary, which is actually on the syllabus page. So, depending on whether the instructor is using modules or not, you may or may not want your content also on the course syllabus, but that's an option that you have. Something else that's interesting is when you create that assignment, in the assignment menu, there are actually separate groups, assignment groups. And the default group is called assignments. So if you create, say, a quiz, it's still going to end up in the assignment group, despite the fact that it's a quiz. And in the gradebook, it will actually be totaled up with all of your other assignments. So the way Canvas is designed is, if you're new to Canvas, you've never used it before, and you create an assignment, you create a quiz, you create all these different items, all this different content, and you want the class to just run, well, it can. And that's the idea from what I've sort of determined by the guys that designed this. They wanted you to just pick it up, make assignments, and just let it go. But if you guys want to do more complicated things like weighting grades, that sort of thing, then there are more details, and then there's actually more that you have to learn, and there's a steeper learning curve for further than that. And in assignments, that's actually where grade weighting happens. I'll talk about that later. But that's why it's important to note that all of your assignments sort of get bulked into the assignment menu or the assignment section by default. And later on, you're actually going to have to break those up if you want to weight your grades. Question?
Just quickly to clarify, so when you are creating these assignments and just to be able to list them, that can be, you're literally just saying this is an assignment in the class, not that it's necessarily you're doing this assignment through Canvas. Like if it's just, because for me, example,
Sure.
I literally just want to use Canvas to have an online grade book for my students to see their grades. But all of their assignments they do in class and will turn in class. So I would still then create an assignment in Canvas just for the purpose of making it show up in the gradebook.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I would do that with all just assignments. I wouldn't, you could do quizzes and that sort of thing, but it gets a little bit, you'd have to get creative. But just for assignments, because you can change the points in an assignment, however, whatever you like. So you can actually create assignments that are no entry. So there's text entry, there's file upload, but then there's just no submission assignments.
Gotcha.
And so you just manually put in the points that you think are fitting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then if I were doing that, for example, for a quiz, rather than entering it into Canvas as a quiz that they would then have to go and take, you could enter it as a no entry assignment and just call it quiz, and so I could just put in the score after
Yep.
I take it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was so confused about
Yeah,
that.
for what you're doing, actually, it's exactly what I was saying, which it's just almost plug and play. It's just
Gotcha.
really, really simple.
Okay.
You just name the assignment, set the points, and then manually grade it.
Okay.
Really easy, yeah.
Great. Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about navigating in the gradebook. So when we are in the gradebook, there are some different views that we have access to. When we hit gradebook, basically we just have a list of student names, and it's like an Excel table, and it has all of our assignments and just the various students that have turned in their assignments and our grades for them. But there are some other views that we can utilize. One of them is learning mastery. A second would be an individual view, which is for fine-tuning grades. And then another one is gradebook history. So learning mastery, and I think of the word mastery, I think of proficiency. So this is a way for us to track the amount of students or the number of students that are proficient in our material. And you can create your own rubric to determine this, or you can go online and find other rubrics or set state standards. But this is not required. This is just something to help you maybe determine the trends of your courses and their outcomes. The individual gradebook view essentially what it does is it allows you to hone in on one particular student and one particular assignment at the same time. And you can curve grades. You can set a default grade if you need to. It also provides statistics that show you the average score in your class for that particular assignment. So the individual view gives you a lot of really good information. And the Gradebook history view. So in Gradebook history, you can actually see, I mean, if you're the only instructor and a student says, well, did you grade this? I can say, well, I graded this on this particular day, and or I made this adjustment to your grade on this particular day. Also, if you have a TA, because it lists the person who did the grading, you can also follow your TAs and just keep track of everything that's happening. So very useful. Okay. So ways to filter and sort the gradebook. So this is our first image of what the list looks like. So you have all of your student names in alphabetical order, and the down arrow basically gives you alphabetical or reverse alphabetical. So it's not too many options there. But what you can do is actually turn the names off entirely. So if you don't want any sort of favoritism entering into your grading, you can actually hide all of the names so that you can just grade anonymously. So that's a really good feature.